Welcome to episode 5 of Thunder Bros. We know you all are expecting Attributes of God Part 2, but we pushed that an episode because we thought this episode that you're about to see was a little bit more important just from the footage and the message we have for y'all today. Hope y'all like it.
Hey guys, today we're out on a boat for our episode. We've got beautiful scenery. Back there there's trees.
Far away.
Over there there's trees. There's also trees over there.
Later we're gonna go fishing.
We have a sky.
We have a sky. Oh my goodness.
And then
What is this? We also have a guest.
Shane from Shane and Shane.
Hey, we're just in the middle of a lake.
Chillin'. Let's head into the first segment. Our first segment is Q&A. Our first question is, Shane, what is your process of writing songs? And how do you go through that? And the process of knowing when it's ready, or if it should be ready, and if you should release it.
Well, I've learned a handful of things. It's more of like I more than a process. I have 2 or 3, maybe 4 things that I've learned that are usually always involved when I write. The first thing I've learned is to pay attention.
Pay attention to what?
Just pay attention always. Pay attention to the Spirit of God.
Okay. So
In
like
particular.
discernment?
Just
in a
what
way?
he's saying. I think
Just
what he's
pay attention. Like, for example, I would be out on the boat, and I would be driving. This has happened while we've been out here, and in my head comes, and I pull out my phone. I'm like, that's a cool beat, and I'm pull out my voice memo. You know, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a beat. It could be a thought. I'm digging this rocking.
I know.
Oh.
So, as you were saying.
Yeah, we're back. We had a little, we had to flip the boat back over, you know.
We dried off in like 3 seconds.
That was really scary, guys. So like I was saying, yeah, pay attention, you know. I think just as we go through our day, it means pay attention as you're reading the scriptures. It means pay attention as you're walking down Kroger's aisle 4. It means pay attention while you and your brother or sister are, you know, out on a little hike. Pay attention when you take your dog out to take a dump. Just always pay attention.
So, if you're in a Kroger aisle and
Right.
you have that thing, do you just pull out your phone and record it?
Always. That's the thing. It kind of takes like a lot of things in the Christian life. It takes faith because
Yeah.
I feel dumb every time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I do. So whether it's like in my devotional time with God, whether it's, you know, in all of those scenarios, I have a bank of thoughts and scriptures, and some I type them, some I say them, some I sing them, some I kind of beatbox them, and those are just where I go. So, which leads me to the next point, is that I've found it is like really helpful for me to find a place that's inspiring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Like a lake.
find a place. That could be a lake for you. It's not me. Not for songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
For like time with God, it is huge, which really benefits songwriting.
Right.
Yeah.
Like just time with God does, because I don't have anything to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's like his ways are about as high as the heavens are above the earth,
Right.
and his thoughts. And so
What's your place?
my place is a stairwell. So we have a studio and an office space, which is kind of awesome. And then across the hall, there's like an emergency, fire escape thing that is not awesome. It is awesome. It sounds amazing.
I'm gonna go to the studio to songwrite. Okay,
Right.
Can I come? Yeah, sure.
Right.
You stay in the office. I'm gonna go to the stairwell real
That's
real
right.
quick.
Every song that I've written in the last 3 or 4 years since we've been there has been that stairwell, because there's like reverb for years.
Yeah.
And there's roaches and there's pipes and it's just concrete. It's super uncomfortable. But there is a permanent cajon in there that I sit on and I like do little beats on. And I bring my guitar and I have a music stand, and we just leave them in there and nobody really cares.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people care because I bother them. I think I bother them because I sing loud. And that's the thing about that space for me, though, is that, I mean, when I'm singing out here, it sounds real bad. But if I do that with a ton of reverb, it kind of, I mean, there's like something that lifts, and I'm free to explore the space in a way that I can't when it's super dry or in a living room or outside.
I remember I watched a video on the Worship Initiative, and you were talking about that. I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was, but
Totally.
you would just go to your shower or something, just scream.
Yeah, see, that's why people like the shower. It's because
Yeah.
there's a little reverb in there. Try
Yes, it's like-
stairwell. My old spot used to be the men's bathroom in the Watermark Green Room, my church's green room, right before the throne of grace.
That's one word for it.
Yeah.
Throne of relief.
Right.
Ton of relief.
And that one was that space though. I'm kind of glad I'm not there because it was like super awkward, because
Yeah,
I'm
if
just
someone
like,
else is in there and you're
Yep,
just like
yep.
screaming.
I'm just serenading them, and then the noises and all the things, And then I would say the third thing is I'm looking for an anchor, which is very appropriate to our situation
Yeah.
here. We're in the middle of the lake.
Without an anchor, right? There's no anchor.
It would be great if we had an anchor.
Yeah.
We should be looking for an anchor. And
That'd
that's
be
what I
convenient.
do, is I look for an anchor. And what I mean is that I'm just trying to find, I'm not just writing things like, the Lord is gracious and he loves us and he's help you through hard times, and when the boat's really rocky, how many analogies are we gonna, like, metaphors
I
are we
know.
gonna,
Just,
when the boat's really rocky, he's the one who says, calm the storm, listen, calm, oh, hold on, calm, be still, you see? I'm trying to find an anchor, or like a hook. Something that, and that could be a lyrical thing, something that when I find that thing, I almost feel like the song is done.
and it can be like just that, like a sentence or something in the
It
song,
could be a
or
thought,
it could be
a sentence, a one line. It could even be a musical hook.
Yeah.
Like for example, we just released a record, and there's a song in there called Psalm 42,
so good.
written from Psalm 42.
My-
And I was having this moment in the stairwell where I was thinking of that old hymn, Come Thou Fount,
Mm-hmm.
which I love. Come Thou Fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy praise. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Except it was a tough day and a tough season. And so it felt more applicable in that moment for me to sing streams of trouble never ceasing instead of streams of mercy. And even though that there's mercy in trouble for sure, but just streams of trouble never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. And when I sang that in that moment, that was like an anchor. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, I'm done. I think that I was reading through Psalm 42, and I'm like, I think that's what I kind of want to say for a chorus. And I didn't even have a chorus. I sang it. I don't even know if what I sang ended up being the final thing.
Right.
But, so yeah, those are 3 things. And so find an anchor, find an inspiring space, and just pay attention always and record whatever comes to mind.
I remember I was doing this songwriting course with on Facebook, with Rick Pino and Naomi Rain,
Brandon Lake was on
Brandon
there, right?
Lake, yeah. And Naomi Rain, her talk was, they're like discussing the ways that they songwrite, and she said that, you know, whenever you get that word and you're like, okay, I'll do that sentence or something, that lyric for the song, and you're like, okay, I'll do that in a minute, and then you forget it, and you're like, God, please let me remember.
Mm-hmm.
One time she asked, she's like, God, please let me remember, and he's like, when I give you something and you don't steward it, then why should I give it back? And so from then on, she just records everything, anytime, at any place.
I know I have one question that's been like I've been thinking on and trying to discern. Is like, how do you know when a song is ready and that you've sat there or God's moved through it enough that you want to release it and share it with other people?
Man, I don't even know if I've ever had that moment where I'm like, I think this song's ready.
Because you've always seen things you could change or something like that,
Yeah,
or just
you
like
know, it's just kind of like you do your best. I mean, I do, you know, I do get there, but I'm never sure.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, because like, man, I only hear in part, and I think what's helpful for me to answer your question in a really practical way.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, how do you know you found the one?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure she's the one. We're engaged, but then a lot of people get unengaged.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, how do you know? And when do you know? Wedding day.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when you know. That's when you're 100% for sure. That's the one. Could it have been another one? Sure. But it's not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the one. It's really similar with songs. It's like we book a band. We're like, okay, on September 13th, there's gonna be 5 people in here for 5 days, and we're gonna record 13 songs. And usually when we do that, I only have like 4 songs.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
here we go. Is it good enough? Well, unless God gives me another one as I'm driving to the studio the last day, those are the 13 songs. They're on the record.
Yeah.
You know?
The 413 songs.
Yeah, the 4 times 13 songs.
4 times 13 songs.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 And there is times where there's a song and it's like, man, in 5 minutes it gets written.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my gosh, that was awesome. There's just, and there is also something to be said of like working really hard. This is what I've kind of learned over the years. I've learned I write really different than some. Like, I write kind of in snippets mostly.
Yeah.
Where I'll get in the stairwell and I'll have like a verse that I'm really passionate about and a chorus I'm really passionate about. And then at the moment that I'm like, squirrel, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of like, there's something that's running out in me.
Right.
I move on to something else. Because what I've learned is that if you write it all, if you're like, I'm going to push through and I'm going to finish this song, which is it's great. That's great as a practice.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, if you write something and you start singing it, then you kind of get this demoitis thing. And so a lyric that you forced ends up staying versus like,
Yeah.
and I just don't want to settle for anything that I don't think that I don't love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I've just learned to I'm not going to put it, I'll put all kinds of things on a note, brainstorm thoughts, just whatever. But I'm not going to put a capital V verse and a capital 2, you know. And it's not lower.
Wait, what's a lowercase 2?
No. It's a capital
Okay.
2, you know.
I think that's exclamation point.
Yeah. I'm not going to do a verse 2 and then put a lyric unless I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Shane, for the music wisdom. Moving on to segment 2.
Now, Shane's going to give us a message. Something maybe from the Bible or something God's been telling him. Whatever he's feeling. He hasn't told us, so we're here
It's
with
actually from the Book of Mormon.
Wait.
It's about golden underwear. And if you find these things, they will make you fly.
Golden underwear.
Hey, can you open to... I'm just kidding. Can you open to Psalm 90? Are you kidding me? Did you see? That was not
Wow.
planned! Not planned!
Wow. That was incredible.
I think the
God's
Lord...
like,
Okay.
I think the Lord has us in Psalm 90 today. So it would take me a minute to read all of this. Should I? I don't think I will. Basically, if you would like to grab Psalm 90 sometime and just read through it, prepare yourself, because this is heavy. This is like, if you make sure you're in your PJs, and you're tucked in your room for Psalm 90, because this is not light reading. This is hard reading. This is heavy stuff. This is it was written by Moses. It was one psalm written by Moses. So this is
Dang, that's cool.
So this is probably one of the oldest songs that we have in human history, because Moses wrote it,
Right.
and it's in the songbook, Psalms. But you're going to hear things like, you say, God, you say to the children of man, return to dust. You sweep them away as with a flood. They're like a dream, like grass that is renewed in the morning. In the morning it flourishes and is renewed. In the evening it fades and withers. It says, we're brought to an end by your anger, by your wrath. We are dismayed. You have set our iniquities before you, our secret sins in the light of your presence. For all our days pass away under your wrath. We bring our years to an end like a sigh. The years of our life, 70, or even by reason of strength, 80, but all of them are but toil and trouble. We're soon gone, and we all fly away. And I was thinking of Psalm
with
90.
our golden underpants.
Yes. Yeah. See, you got to lighten the mood sometimes, because that. And I was thinking about Psalm 90 just a minute ago, talking to your mom, Jonah, because of the young man that's just passed away in your community.
Yeah.
Right? Really healthy 16-year-old dude. Dad just finds him dead.
Yeah, I was really sad.
You might have 16 years. You might have 80 years. According to Psalm 90, they're both about the same.
Yeah.
It's just... And it says, you return us to dust. And then it says, have you considered the wrath of God on sin?
That's a deep question.
Have you considered the power of God's anger? So then it goes, teach us to number our days that we may get a heart of wisdom. And then he ends it with these things. And this is the message, okay? He ends it with two prayers. Because of the condition of the human heart, that you get that Moses understands our depravity.
Right.
He understands that we're here for a second and gone. And he also understands that in that second, we're sinners. And it's because of that sin that he is going to pour his wrath on us.
Right.
So he ends Psalm 90 going, he says two things. He says, return, O Lord. How long? Have pity on your servants. So basically, would you save us?
Right.
Yeah.
And how many of you guys know that God answered that prayer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all know how he answered it?
Send Jesus.
He sent Jesus. We're reading Psalm 90 from the other side.
Yeah.
Like, Moses goes, we're a mess, and we're all going to hell. And you're going to crush us all. And then he said, would you have pity? Would you return? And then God said, yes, I'll send my crushing on my son and not you.
Yeah.
And God answered that. So now we can read this psalm and go, Jesus now is this psalm starts with you've been our dwelling place. Jesus is our dwelling place.
Right.
He's our shelter from the storm of God's wrath. And we just hide under. He's our Savior. He answered that.
Yeah.
And so he didn't stop there. He said, "Have pity. Would you have pity on your servants?" And then he said, "Satisfy us in the morning with your steadfast love." And so he said, "Save us forever." And then he said, "Satisfy us today." So God isn't just our Savior. You think about, are you saved? Are you a Christian? And yeah, I got saved back at church camp, whatever. Gave my life to Christ. I'm in. I'm going to heaven forever. That's true because of Jesus. He did that. He's our Savior. He's our Savior forever. But my question to you is, who's your Savior today? Because he just said, "Satisfy me in the morning with your steadfast love." It's almost like he's going, I'm going to be satisfied with something unless you satisfy me with your unfailing love.
Right.
So so our Savior, this looks a ton like our Savior today.
Yeah.
Are you lonely? Are you anxious? Are you tempted?
Yeah.
So what's going to save you from those things? Something's going to save you from those things. And God says he can do it in Jesus Christ, in knowing Christ.
Amen.
And that works its way out. That could be a next episode, the way that works its way out. But like, I usually wear a shirt every day that says, and you have a couple of them too. It says, I
almost worn it.
shall not want. And that is there to remind me, Lord, I get up and I see that and say, because I know the shepherd, I don't have to want anymore. Like
Satisfy me.
everything I'm looking for, only you can do that for me.
Thank you so much, Uncle Shane, for featuring in this video. Please go check Shane and Shane out on their YouTube channel.
And the Worship Initiative.
Yes, it's been awesome. We almost died,
Yeah. It was
but
really
we
fun.
made it, and it has been incredible. Stay tuned for segment 3. Segment 3. Not 2, not 1, not 4. 3.
Awesome.
Yeah! Oh, that's good. That's good TV. Hold it steady. Hold it steady.
Let's set a calendar.
We're going down. We're going down. I just saw a fishy. I don't know what kind.